Hey, what's up, Seekers? Wanugee with GoldenDragonFortunes, your K-Rap sidekick. And today, we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be, by request from many of you, we're going to be looking at some ships. Yep, there's a bunch of ships back here, I think. I got all kinds of ships back here. There's many ships. We're going to kind of take a look at some of them, maybe about 7. We're going to look at 7 different ships, and we're going to look for those ships with one of our favorite idols, one of your favorite idols. Hey Blinks, welcome in. And we're gonna do it for Lalisa Manaban, the Thai princess, the royal maknae. She has more Instagram followers than any other K-pop idol. I think it's over 22 million now. Anyway, Lalisa Manaban, we love her. So, and so do you, Blinks. I know you do. So that's why you're here. So let's look at some ships. You like somebody of a popular group, you're in love with them, you follow them, and maybe you like somebody in another group, or maybe the same group, and you follow them, and you love them, and you like to see the interaction, and you get to know them through social media. It's human nature for you to want to, if you like this, and you like this person and that person, to want to see them kind of be happy together. So it kind of fulfills your own fantasy of this kind of bonding, this kind of, you know, two things you like come together, and it's exciting. And so that's really what ships are all about. Ships are about you, the fan, which fan is short for fanatic. You know, you, the fan, are interested in a couple of people, and you have a lot of invested emotion in them, and you want to see them together because it's exciting. It's happy, makes you happy, and you know, you don't know much about these people. I mean, they have their own private lives, and obviously they have some social presence that you might know about, and you might feel as a fan that you know a lot about them, which you do, but you don't really know about their personal love life. You don't really know about their personalities. You don't know what they're doing off camera, etc. You just know their public persona. So that's what ships are. Now, relationships, that has to do with the two people involved. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do not about what you want or what you want them to do, or you want to see these two together because they're cute, you know, and wouldn't that be cool? It's like, you know, playing with dolls, like, oh, Ken and Barbie, whatever. Relationships has to do with the actual two people. And relationships are kind of an interesting thing, you know, because two people have to develop that relationship. And maybe there's some chemistry, maybe there's some attraction, maybe there's some of the same things. That guy's cute, that girl's cute, beautiful. So that's relationships. That involves the two people in the relationship. Doesn't have to do with the fans. A lot of times, you know, let's face it, when they're on stage, these pop idols, K-pop idols, they're doing what might be called fan service. They're just trying to, they know that you want to see these things kind of interact, these people, the band members, you know, the group members interact with each other, kind of in a loving, endearing way, and it gets the crowd all excited. So they do this. They kind of play to what you want, because it's kind of a performance. They're on stage. But what they do in the private life is separate. And so there's a lot of people out there trying to guess, you know, looking for ship clues, seeing if, okay, maybe based on this interaction where this person was kind of looking in that direction and that person was kind of looking back in that direction, that somehow there's a secret relationship and there's a ship going on. But anyway, that's kind of fun, and it's okay. It's human nature. It's human nature to do that type of thing, so I'm not criticizing it. The third thing that what we can do, and I'm going to do a little bit of this today, and that is compatibility. So there are some systems to try to figure out the compatibility, and I've chosen 3 to kind of use, and they're kind of based on ancient wisdom, the stars, and how they align. So it's based on 3 different astrological techniques that we're going to take a look at today. One is the astrology based on a Western system, which is kind of a sun-based and kind of a medieval kind of history that, going back quite far, about the stars and how they align, and about the 12 houses and where the planets are in the houses, and this is how Western astrology kind of works. You know, and you look at the juxtaposition of these stars and vis-a-vis this person's natal chart and that person's natal chart, and kind of see. It's very complicated, a lot of detail. We're just going to take a very cursory look at it. We're going to just kind of do an overview because we don't have time to get into detail. And then we're going to look at another system, the Batzi, the Chinese system. This is also very ancient, based on thousands of years ago. And the Chinese system is a little bit different. It has to do with the 4 pillars and it's a different system, but it's based on the stars, and it's based kind of more lunar in its nature and construction, and it uses different animals. Some are the same, but different, a whole different system than the Western system with the 12 months of animals. The Chinese system is more the 12 years of animals, and actually 60 years of animals when you combine the elements and the yin yang. And then there's a third system, and this is called the Vedic system, or Indian-based system from the subcontinent of India. This is also very, very ancient, very well developed, and it's very complicated. For compatibility, it's a very complex system. It's based on 8 different kuns, or 8 different subsections or categories. And then there's a certain amount of gunas, or ganas, or points that are based on those categories. And those points can add up to 36 points. And so the compatibility is determined by how close to 36 the compatibility of these star-aligned possible mates have. And so I've kind of taken all these things and kind of converted them into maybe a simple way to look at them. We're kind of using we're using the birth date and how they match up compatibility-wise, really kind of for marriage, kind of a more serious compatibility with Lisa Monoban, with Lisa of Blackpink. So who's the first one up that we're going to take a look at? Now, just to let you know, I did not do more than one person from one K-pop group. So who's the first one up? Taeyang from NCT. NCT, that big group with the subunits, and it's been around for a while. And we're going to look at Taeyang and see where he fits in with Lisa's compatibility. Young Lisa? I think that's a ship name. Maybe you can tell me. You Taeyong fans of NCT and Lisa, you tell me what the ship name is, but I think it's Young Lisa. For each one of these idols, we're going to look at things and say, okay, here's the picture of the idol, what's the compatibility, and then we're going to look at it from a percentage point of view of what the compatibility is based on the charts of the 3 different systems, and then maybe show a little bit of what the what maybe some of the background is, or the reason why, or a little bit more information about maybe just the basics of what the compatibility is based on. So Taeyang was born July 1st, 1995. So he's a Cancer, and let's see what the compatibility is. That based on the Western system, it's only 47%, and based on the Chinese system, it's only, well, 65%. So that's a positive number. It gets any kind of because it's less than half compatibility. Our scoring system is based on above 50% compatibility. So the Western says 47%. The Chinese says 65%. Although we're kind of missing the date of the time of birth, so that may have an influence one way or the other. And then the Vedic system, the Indian system, is only 38%. So that averages out to 50%, barely, and 1 point, because it's over 50%. So we give 1 point for that combination. Now, we're combining 3 possible points for each astrology system: Western 3, Chinese 3, Indian 3. So the total possible is 9 points. So Lisa, obviously, let's look at Lisa's chart. She is 100%. She gets 3 points for each system, 100% compatibility with herself because she is herself. And so that adds up to a possible 9. Now, I don't know if it's possible to get 9 out of a combination with somebody else because this is kind of a system I kind of created. So I don't even know if it's possible, but it gives you kind of a measuring stick to see where the compatibility is. So Taeyang, unfortunately, the percentage is not good, and part of the reason why, let's look at the next chart here, is that, in the Western system, he is a Cancer, and she's an Aries. And, Cancers are very feeling-oriented, sensitive. Aries are very much movement-oriented, making things happen. They're the ram. So, the ram and the crab are not a great match. in the Western system. And for the Batsi, or the Chinese system, Taeyang is a pig, and Lisa's an ox. And Lisa's a fire ox, and Taeyang's a wood pig. So, you know, could be that Lisa might burn that wood a little bit, and maybe that's going to be a rubbing point for that relationship. But it's a 65% possibility, so maybe Taeyang needs a little bit of that fuel, you know, a little bit of that fire to kind of, you know, make things happen. So, and then the Vedic system, this is very complicated. I'm using the Jaman Nakshatra as kind of a guide, and that's what these terms are inside here. Kind of the position of the moon stars, and anyway, it's very complicated. But for the Vedic system, for Taeyang, Lisa's Swati and Taeyang Asesha is only a 38% match. In fact, out of the 36 possible matching points in the Vedic system, there's only 13.5 as a score out of a possible 36, so it's very low. So it's not good in the Vedic system. And so, but he gets 1 point for being over 50%. So 1 point, 50% match, it's kind of iffy, not that great for compatibility, for long term, for a serious relationship or marriage. So let's take the next one. GOT7. JYP's GOT7. And a popular ship between GOT7 and Blackpink and Lisa is Yugyeom. Yugyeom is popular, that ship, and it's called, I guess, I don't know who makes these ship names, but it's called Yuglisa? Yuglis? I don't know. It's, you tell me, you shippers, Yugyeom and Lisa shippers, what is your ship name? Maybe make some comments down below, because I don't know. Personally, I don't like the lice, the L-I-C-E, which kind of looks like lice in English. And lice is, you know, bugs that get in your hair and are irritant. So I don't like that term of something lice, something lice. Was born in November 17th, 1997. So the same year as Lisa, but he's actually about 8 months younger than Lisa. But you know, he has some similar responsibilities in his group. So there may be some common things there, but let's see what the scores say. So the percentages of compatibility for Yugyeom and Lisa is, in the Western system, it's 48%, so it's below water. But in the Batsi Chinese system, it's about 61% or so. And in the Vedic system, it's 72%. So it's pretty good. So his Scorpio and her Aries is not so good. You know, the moody, watery Scorpio and the bold, action-oriented Aries maybe can create some issues. The you know, the Ox, which is the basically the kind of the high-level compatibility of them are the same year. They're both, you know, yin fire oxes, but I based the calculation for their compatibility based on other factors, which has to do with the 4 pillars, which not just the year, but also the month, the day, and perhaps the hour. And I use the same hour for both of them, so it's really about the month and the day. And the day has to do with their social self and how they present themselves out there in the world with others and the younger in life. And the month is more a little bit older, when they're more mature and they're what's called their elder self, and how they may interact at that point. And there's different animals involved in each of these. So the compatibility is based on all of those, not just the year. And for Yugyeom, it's 61%, even though they're both oxes. They're both the same year. And then in the Vedic system, it's 72%. Pretty nice. So apparently her Swati and his Mrigashira is a good combination at 72%. And so that is a total of 3 points. 1 for the 61% for the Chinese, 2 points for the Vedic. So now he's got a score, a kind of arbitrary scoring system I made based on compatibility and percentages, of 3. And a compatibility of 60% on this system that I've created. So that's pretty good. And so let's pick another one. The next idol is going to be Mingyu. So Mingyu is with that group 17. He was born on April 6, 1997. So actually just a few days after Lisa was born, because she was born on March 27th, 1997. But obviously in different places. He was born in Anyang, South Korea, and she was born in Bangkok, Thailand. So that makes a difference as well. And I guess the ship name, what's the ship name, shippers? You shippers that got 17 and Lisa going on here, Blackpink. So Mingyu and Lisa, I think it's called Gyu Lisa or Gyu Lise. I don't know. You tell me what the ship name is. I really don't like that name, but let's see what the compatibility shows. I mean, the percentages. The percentages are they're both Aries, and this turns out to be, in this situation, in the Western system, about a 75% match. So that's good. If you look at the Chinese system, it's 58%, so it's about 1. Vedic system, it's only about 54%, so that's 1. So I think it's like 2 points, 75%, 2 points for the Western, 1 point for the Chinese, and 1 point for the Indian system. So it comes out to 4. But that averages out to about a 62% match. So that's pretty good, based on what we've seen so far. You know, the reasons why is the Aries seems to work in this situation. And they're the same year, but also there's some other factors that have to do with other parts of the Chinese system that seem to work okay, at least keeps it above 50% at 58. And then for the Vedic system, the Swati and the Uttarabhadra seems to have some above 50% as well. So that's good. So they get that's 4 points or 62% compatibility. So the next match we're going to do is Sehun, the maknae of EXO. Very talented. He was born on April 12th, 1994. So he's about 3 years older than Lisa. Let's see what the percentages say. The percentages are in the Western system, he's in Aries as well, so that's 75%. That's 2 points. And then if you look at the Chinese system, he's a dog, a yang wood dog, and dogs and oxes don't necessarily get along that well. So that's only 36%. So that's a 0 as far as points. Not a good compatibility based on that system. And the Vedic system, there's a 76% match. So it's pretty good. It's almost the same as the Western system. So there seems to be some compatibility there based on the Vedic astrology. And in fact, when you look at the point system in the Vedic system, which is, I mentioned, 36 total possible points, this match for between Sehun and Lisa is 27.5 points. So it's pretty high, actually. Almost to the highest level, but not quite. So that's 2 points, and so his Ashwini kind of matches his her Swati. That's 4 points. That's 4 points total. 62% compatibility between Sehun of EXO and Lisa of Blackpink. We're going to do another idol, and this is an idol that I think Lisa's done some commercials and done some photo shoots with, and but he's done some of these commercials with Jisoo as well. And he's the popular idol of Ikon. And it's Bobby Kim. Bobby, and as his stage name. And so let's see what it says, what the percentage say for Bobby and Lisa. So we look at the percentages, and it looks like Bobby and Lisa in the Western system, it's a really high match. It's 87% is the compatibility. So that's the highest number we've seen so far. And in the Chinese system, it's still a positive number. It's over 50%, so it's 56%. He's 1995, so somehow this pig, although wasn't as good as Taeyang for other details, but it's positive. And in the Vedic system, the Indian system, doesn't quite make it to halfway. It's at 49%. Because of his Western score, that's 4 total points, and it averages out to 64%. If you calculate it that way. So that's 64%. So we've had 62% with Mingyu, and maybe 62% with Sehun. But Bobby so far is the highest at 64%. So you Bobby shippers, your Lisa Bobby shippers, I don't know, is it Bob Lise? Is that the ship name? So, hey, you Iconics, you Blakes, you Bob Lise, Bob Lisa, whatever the ship name is. What do you think? Make some comments, And then let's get to a couple of idols that are very popular. And one of them is in her group. So I know out there in Blinkland, there's a lot of Jen Lisa shippers. So Jennie Kim, Lisa Manaban, you see them on stage, you saw them on their Blackpink house, Lisa jumping on the bed for Jennie and all this kind of stuff. So all you Jen Lisa fans, Jen Lisa shippers, I'm sure we're excited about all those things, the developments. Although, it seems like it's cooled off, on stage at least, over the last few performances. It's changed, Lisa spent a lot of time with Jisoo. Early on she was spending all her time with Rose, and then it kind of shifted over to Jennie. So, but now it's Jisoo. So, let's see what the percentages say on this analysis compatibility. Now, this is about not working together, because it's about if they were to get into a serious relationship, marriage or an intimate, close relationship. So let's see what the percentage say for Jen Lisa. Okay, so here they are. So Jen Lisa, not so good. This Capricorn says that there's only 38% compatibility between Jennie and Lisa in the Western system, Western astrology. So that's low. And then when you go to the Chinese Batsa, the percentage is still underwater. It's only about 49%, so it's not even halfway. And if you go to the Vedic system, it's even worse. It's 28%. So the Vishaka and Swati don't seem to go together in these two people's charts in the Vedic system. So, if you look at the reasons why, Aries and Capricorn, Aries and Capricorn make a good working relationship, I think. I am a Capricorn, and I worked with an Aries for many, many years, and we were successful and made things happen and built a business. We had our conflicts, though, and certainly I didn't want to marry him. I didn't have a close relationship in that way, but working, we kind of got things got done. He was all over the place, lots of different energy, different ideas, and I was the glue that kind of put it all together and created the foundation to build the business. So in that way, working ways, it's good. And so maybe, when they work together, when they rap together, they perform together, it kind of works. But not emotionally, not relationship-wise, in a love way. It doesn't work. It's in fact, the total score is 0, no points, and the average for Jen Lisa is 38%. 38% compatibility for, long-term relationship, marriage. So, sorry, Jen Lisa fans. I know there's a lot of you guys out there, particularly in the Philippines. You really like this Jen Lisa combination. I'm not sure why. Hey, magandang araw, but for our Filipino fans. But you know, salamat for your support, but they're not. That's not a good combination, Jen Lisa. So, you know, you might want to stand all four Blackpink next time they come visit to Manila, and then so that's it. That's a 0 score of compatibility. So the seventh idol that we picked to check out their compatibility based on these 3 system averages is a very popular ship, probably one of the most popular Lisa ships, and that is Jungkook of BTS. I know there's a lot of videos out there, there's a lot of shippers out there, there's a lot of looking for little clues at the award shows. You know, is he staring over at her? Is she kind of staring over at him? Is he trying to hug a friend so he can look at her? You know, is she looking back at him? You know, are they going to the bathroom at the same time? All these kind of ship clues. You know, you ship detectives are very imaginative and very intense, and hey, it makes a good video. So, very popular ship, the Jungkook Lisa ship, and I think we know what all that was. That was called Liz Cook, isn't it? Isn't it Liz Cook? Which, you know, Liz is, you know, short for Elizabeth, not Lisa, and Cook, I guess, yeah, Jungkook, but it could have been something else as well. But somehow it's Liz Cook. That's what you all agreed. I don't know how these ship names come together and who decides, or as it just becomes momentum. But Liz Cook. So let's take a look at the percentage of compatibility for Liz Cook. So here we go. Let's see the chart. All right, Jungkook. He's a Virgo, and which is an Earth sign, and she's an Aries, and that's only a 42% match based on their full, you know, most of their chart. Like I said, we still don't know the ascendant sign. We don't know the hour they're born. Although we got some information from one of our fans. Thank you. Of a potential hour that Jungkook was born, but we don't know when Lisa was born. So only 42%, so below water. And if you look at the Chinese system, the Bazi, this is even worse. This is only 34% compatibility. And even though, you know, he's a Yin Fire Ox, which so is Mingyu and Yugyeom, I mean, as far as the year. But when you get into the month and the day, and maybe a little bit of the hour, it doesn't work so well. You know, the social self, the elder self, really the natural self, somehow it's not quite working for Liz Cook and for Lisa and Jungkook. And so you shippers, sorry to tell you that, but that's, you know, if they were to have a relationship or a marriage, could be problematic, could be some challenges. Although there is, you know, if you look at the Chinese system, there is some compatibility in the youth. You know, their social self, maybe the way they kind of project out there, might be a better match than maybe later. Kind of goes downhill, and maybe the underlying who they are may be problematic. But it's only 34%. And then if you look at the Vedic system for Liz Cook, that's not good either. It's only 35% compatibility. In fact, out of the 36 possible points that can match these two in the Vedic system, there's only 12.5 points that show up. So it's well below half. So that's a 0 too. Shock, Liz Cookers, but you shippers, but compatibility wise, it's 0. So let's recap. Let's take a look now, based on all this, let's look at the rankings of who is the best compatibility as far as a long-term or marriage relationship, based on an average of these 3 systems of astrology: Western, Chinese, and Indian. And let's take a look at the chart. So number 1 is Bobby of Ikon. Hey, you Iconics, you know, you Bob Lee shippers. I would like to call it Lisa Bob. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to put it, because this is for Lisa, I'm going to put Lisa's name first on every one of these ships. So I'm going to rename them. Okay, so Bob Lisa, or whatever you call it, Lisa Bob, I'm going to call it, has got 4 points and a 64% compatibility. in this kind of average system. And then next is XO. Hey, you XOLs, Sehun, your little heartthrob MACD. I think he's a MACD, isn't he? He's number 2 and not far behind. He's at 62%, and he also has 4 points with Lisa. And so Hunlee's, I call it, let's call it Lisa Hun. Why not? Because I want to put Lisa first in all these ship names. You know, girl power. Why not put the girl's name first instead of the guy's? And then the third one, which is, it's actually a tie. It's a tie between Sehun and Mingyu. Mingyu is 17. They have the same score. There's a 4 points and a 62% compatibility based on the average of these systems. So Gyu Lisa, I mean, I don't know, Gyu Lisa sounds like, you know, Gyu in Japanese means meat, you know, like red meat. So I don't know. But Gyu Lisa, I don't like that name, but how about Lisa Ming? Lisa Ming? Lisa Gyu? That sounds better to me because it puts Lisa first. So that's a tie between Sehun and Mingyu. And then next on the list, fourth really on the list is Yugyeom. Yugyeom have got 7. I don't know what, Yuglis? I don't know. I think it should be called like Lisyug or Lisayug. 60% compatibility, so not too far behind and 3 points. And then the 5th place is Taeyang from NCT, and I don't know, Young Lis. Why don't we just call that Lis Young? That flows off better, Lis Young. And that's only got a 50% compatibility, so it's barely, you know, halfway. But it's 1 point on the system I created. And then we get to Jennie. Poor Jen Lisa shippers. Hey, Jen Lisa shippers. You know, it's not a good match. It's not a good compatibility. Maybe working together works okay, but as far as love and matrimony and long-term relationship, doesn't look good. It's like 38% and no points because nothing's over 50% in either of these systems, these 3 systems. And then you Liz cookers, sorry, but Jungkook and Lisa, that's even a little bit worse. That's 37% match as an average in these systems. There's no points. So I don't know. I don't want to cause controversy, but that kind of opens up the door for you rose cookers. Yeah, rose cook. Yeah, rosé. I know that's a popular ship as well. Maybe we'll have to do the compatibility there, but we haven't yet. But I just want to pick these 7 people. So, you know, you guys who have all these ships with like BTS, I mean, they're the most popular group, and Blackpink, they're the most popular girl group. So there's all kinds of ship possibilities between them because they're the most popular. And so you like Jimin, and you like whoever, you like Jen, you know, you're going to ship them. That's just natural, that's human nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of being a fan, part of following these people and wanting happiness for those that you really like and to share that happiness with you. So anyway, that's just kind of a overview of all these possibilities with these ships. You know, all these ships back here, there's lots of them. More to be done, but I thought I'd pick 7, 1 from each group, main group, and to match with the Lisa Monomon, because a lot of people ask for it. You know, a lot of people are shipping Lisa with everybody. She's the most popular K-pop idol on the internet, and talented, beautiful, sexy, funny, sometimes immature, but you know, she's very popular. So I understand the ships, but you have to understand as shippers that there's a relationship, and that has nothing to do with you, and that there's some compatibility that has to do with the stars. And so we're just going to have to see how that moves forward, and maybe someday some of these all kind of come together. Maybe a ship that you really want, and the relationship that they develop, and the compatibility they have, all works out. But you know, even if you're in a relationship, you know, as you may know, if you've ever fallen in love, it doesn't always work out. You know, just because you love them doesn't mean they are the best for you or they love you back. I mean, look at the song thing and the K-drama thing. You know, everybody probably shipped them and was happy they got married, but it didn't work out. So anyway, that's all for now. If you want to make some comments on your ships, whatever you want to do, maybe give us some feedback, correct us on the ship names, make some comments. We'd love it. Just write them down below, and we'll take a look at them, and we answer most of them, So obviously we can't do every request because there's a lot of requests, but we try to interact with you guys. So please make some comments and like and subscribe, hit the bell, put it on share it on social media, put it on Twitter. I don't do a lot of Twitter, so you can be my Twitter feed and share it. And with Facebook and Tumblr or whatever you use out there. And until next time, wishing you all good fortune.
Hey, what's up, seekers? Looking in the future peekers. You K-pop breakers coming round and see us every weekers. Yo, diehard K-pop fans, I want to know your stands. Just let us know your bias, then go ahead, try us.